right? In Nashville, we have the Music City Bowl. We have Tennessee, a 4.5 point favorite over Aiden O'Connell and the Purdue Boilermakers. Last time Purdue was there, they got absolutely abused by Auburn, 63-14. This is a defense that played very well this year. They got the victory over Michigan State. As long as David Bell plays right now, it's like 50-50, but I don't think it matters. Aiden O'Connell and that offense, just from a tempo perspective, are averaging well over 330 passing yards per game. That front seven for Purdue only giving up around 132 rushing yards per game, holding opposing offenses to 35% on third down conversions, as well as Hendon Hooker and Josh Heupel have been this year and turning around that offense. And I think they're going to be a legit contender in the SEC East. I do feel that Purdue's a live dog in this ball game, catching 4.5 points. I think they can move the football on Tennessee's defense like Purdue, but I also think it's going to be a shootout. This total is in the area of about 63.5. I think it's going to be a shootout. A lot of points in both of these offenses. And you mentioned Hendon Hooker. He's got 24 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, over 200 rushing for Tennessee, over 200 passing. I think it's points aplenty. So like Purdue in the over in that ball game. And then how about another one? Big 10, Big 12 matchup. You have Minnesota and PJ Fleck taking on Neil Brown and West Virginia. Another type of game where both teams mirror each other. Physical offense and defensive lines. Quarterbacks, you have Jared Dagey squaring off against Tanner Morgan. This line is in the area of about 3.5. I like the speed of West Virginia. Catching 3.5, I think they strike the upset there. And then one more potential upset. I'm back in the Pac-12 in this matchup. Oregon plus the 4.5. The fact that Mario Cristobal's not there, I think that's a benefit. Anthony Brown's a veteran quarterback. Pitiful performance against Utah. 5 or 6 assistant coaches for Oklahoma not there. This is still a team plus 10 in turnover margin. Thibodeau out, doesn't matter. I think Oregon shows well, potentially strikes the upset over Oklahoma. And then my all-time best bet, Mark, in the bowl season, I'm going with Louisville over Air Force. Gutty matchup. You have a great foundation of starters coming back, 9 for 2022, including Malik Cunningham. They're back in a bowl game, but it's not just the offense. The defense up until that ball game against Kentucky was very good in run support, holding opposing offenses to 102 on the ground. That was an SEC caliber front. This is the triple option with a Mountain West Conference opponent. The speed of Louisville to me is way too much. I think they win this ball game convincingly by double digits. And I'm also going over the Sun Bowl. That's a blind over bet in that matchup. The Rolling Hills of Texas El Paso, Washington State, and Miami.
Yes, Tyler Van Dyke has been remarkable leading that Miami offense the last 8 or 9 games of the season. No question about that. In a quarterback-heavy league at the ACC. Joe Lisi talking college football with us. One last thing, Joe. The 12-team playoff format was proposed by a committee during the offseason. We're still at 4 teams. What's your preference? What would you do? What do you like here?
I still like 4, Mark, because the one concern I have, and we're college football purists. The regular season is unlike any other college sport and pro sport around. We come out, you have one opportunity to make or break it. Those interconference games week 1 that we potentially will see in the coming years, USC and LSU. We have Ohio State squaring off against Oregon this year. Those games matter. And to me, I don't want to make it 12 or 14 or 16 teams, because then those regular season matchups get watered down. And my concern is then we look like college basketball. If we're talking about 12 teams, then the 13th and 14th team are in an uproar. I mean, we had a Big 12 championship that was basically like a playoff game this year, right? Baylor, Oak State, and we had a Ohio State, Michigan that went right down to the wire. I don't want to change it, baby, but, the powers that be are looking 12, so we'll see how it plays out.
I'm an expansion guy, Joe, but that's a conversation for another time.